Did you miss us?
Did you miss us? Did you miss us?
Because we're back.
Or did you just stop watching us?
You guys totally forgot about us. Okay, I'm just double checking that you can even hear us right now.
We're making sure. Look at that. Turn it up.
Say something.
Hello, hello?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. That's Facebook, right?
Yep.
Okay, so welcome everybody, and Time Warp Live is back. We were gone for a day last week. We did not do our show, and a lot of you know that she lost her voice because she didn't really lose her voice. You had dental work done.
I did, and I looked like Droopy from
She was pretty swollen. But who wants to talk and be festive and fun when you've had major dental surgery? Yeah. I don't know about you, but not me, right? So, and then Steve had major surgery, and so I was out for that.
Yep.
And he's doing better, and he's going to be back tomorrow. I'm so excited.
Miss him.
Whole new person, right?
Yeah.
He's probably watching going, mm-hmm. I am on Time Warp, right?
Yep, I think you
What's
are.
with two people? What's that silliness?
I don't know, but I'm going to mass send it out like I normally do every Tuesday when we're...
This one says, we're telling your followers you've started.
Awesome, because I'm sending it to literally everybody right now, so I hope you guys are ready.
Oh, then you're not on Facebook.
I am on Facebook.
How are you sending it that way? Oh, send in Messenger.
Yep.
Okay, so we are going to be talking about what's in the case. So we're going to do these things now where, until we get all the cases done, is what's in the case. And below us, you guys can't see it, but there is a case here. And how many of you go into a store? I mean, how about you? You go into a store and you glance through the cases, but you think, oh, those are expensive. That's expensive in the case.
All the time.
Right? Or you just don't want to take the hassle of calling somebody to open the case and stuff like that, right? I get it, because I run into that same situation as well. And so we're going to tell you what's in our cases and why we put them in our cases, because here at Time Warp, not everything in a case is expensive.
Right, and I can't stress that enough. Some of it is just really delicate and it just needs to be protected.
Or really tiny, and we don't want it ending up in a pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a mouth.
A mouth, oh gosh.
Because of little kids. It's sad, but because of little kids. Two people. Did people forget about us?
I think they might have.
You're almost out of juice.
I got 32%.
Oh. So anyways, and we are in Time Warp. You double checked.
Yes.
I'm just wondering. People will come on in a minute.
So
when they realize.
What's new with you and...
There's always something crazy going on in my life, right? So everybody knows that we have the store here, the store in Las Vegas. We've got Time Warp Live, which you and I do.
Yeah.
And we do it on location at times and stuff like that. And we have the Mount Clemens show coming up once I get off my butt and actually organize it. But we are going to be, I'm actually in talks with, and this is new to you too, I'm actually in talks with Brooke, and we are going to go to, oh my God, Enchanted Makeovers.
Oh.
Which is a nonprofit organization that makes that uses vintage items
to rehab
places for for homeless shelters, and to try and get people from homeless shelters and into home.
And essentially, I think I remember reading their website. They offer...
Just updating to see if more two people came on.
They offer utilities and resources to not only make your new living situation more comfortable, but to make it really feel like home. Because when you're going through things,
Thank you for the heart.
Maybe you're leaving...
people are coming on. They're just not... Why isn't it updating the numbers? I see the faces.
Oh, yeah, mine's still really slow right now. Yeah. But maybe you're unfortunately leaving a very toxic relationship, or maybe you are just a single parent who might have fallen down off their feet and you need some help getting back onto your feet. I'm sorry, what was her name again?
It's called... why is it a block in my head? Makeovers. Enchanted Makeovers.
Enchanted Makeovers, yes. They use vintage and antique items to really, again, bring new life to a home, or to rehab a place for single parents or people that might have just fallen off of their feet, get back on track. Because I don't know about you, but if you're going through a hard time and you lost everything, the last thing you're going to want to do is live in a place where you don't know anything.
Correct. And so I love what they do. And they have a really cool place out in Taylor. And Brooke called me and said, you should do a show out there because they use vintage. They use vintage items. So whenever somebody uses vintage items or repurposes vintage items, I have to be involved.
Of course.
Because it's fun and unique.
Very.
Because using vintage items to create something new for somebody, to me, is what everything I stand for.
100%.
You know what I mean? So that's exciting, and that's coming, and we're working on that. We're probably thinking June for that show because there's a lot of logistics involved.
Sure.
Production style. Then, not only that, what else are we doing? We have a fundraiser coming up.
That's going to be Saturday?
Well, Sunday I have a fundraiser I'm attending. I'm going to be all spiffed up. But we have a fundraiser coming up in May as well with MAD and the breweries. So that'll be fun.
I'm really excited for this event that's going to be happening at the brewery, just because I know a lot of our viewers are pretty familiar with MAD and what they stand for. But for MAD to be having a fundraiser event inside of a brewery, I honestly feel it's going to break the stigma that a lot of people have with MAD, because MAD, like a lot of people associate MAD with, they just don't like drinking, they don't like alcohol, and we're going to shun people who drink. When that's really not the case. MAD doesn't condone drinking, but they just don't want you to drink and drive.
So this is you.
Yes.
When you're drunk.
Literally, this is your brain on alcohol.
That's me when I'm drunk.
It's your brain on alcohol.
So anyways, we're going to be talking about toys and a lot of fun stuff and a lot of great stuff coming. Hi, Mom. How are you? People are slowly starting to come on. I'm excited. And again, we're sorry we were not here last week. We had some medical issues that we had to take care of, dental as well as Steve's surgery. So I'm excited to be back, and we're going to be talking about toys.
Yeah, let's get on into it.
Yes. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about Warner Brothers and about ramp walkers, which I know a lot of younger viewers don't know a lot about ramp walkers, but you know about the new ramp walkers.
You will after this.
And then wind-up toys. And what are you going to be talking about?
I'm going to be talking about the good old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
One of my favorites, Sugar Bear. He's iconic. And then the infamous G.I. Joe.
Oh, awesome. Now, are you going to focus on the 60s or the 80s G.I. Joe?
I'm actually going to be talking a little bit about all of them.
About all of them?
Just because a lot of people don't really know what happened to G.I. Joe in the early 60s and mid-70s.
Right.
Just because of after the war kind of it wasn't prominent in people's lives anymore.
Right.
That meant G.I. Joe also went along with that.
Yes, and then they got a resurgent again in the 60s and 70s.
From the Cold War.
G.I. Joes around the world.
Yep.
And then they all went from 12 inches down to
and you know why
a little tiny ones.
Fun fact, we're jumping ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe's actually shrunk in size because they were in such a massive competition with Star Wars toys and figures that they decided to make them smaller so then they would be almost identical in comparison.
Oh, yeah. Well, they can play with the regular toys, too.
Yep.
So, anyways, first of all, do you want to start? You go right ahead.
Sure, yeah.
What are you going to start about?
So, we have some really cool Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles here in store, and I also do want to stress to you that...
And you just put a little bit out.
Yeah, you pulled out a couple of really cool ones for me. I will bring those up a little bit closer.
And we're going to lift them up so you guys can see, yeah.
And then we also, too, have an entire case over here to the right that is not pictured, that is also filled with a bunch of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
A lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles over there. Along with their weapons and their accessories, which are always hard to find.
I'm going to step behind you so while I'm talking, I can also show off some of these really cool figures.
Yes, perfect.
So, if you guys are familiar with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you will know that they've been around for a very, very, very long time. And honestly, I am such a fan of these action figures just because they're so different. They come with so many different of their own aesthetics and styles. Facebook, you can get in on it too.
And let me ask you, now, one of the things that I think is cool about the Mutant Ninja Teenage Turtles is that you can, there's not only one set.
Exactly. There's not only one set.
They're in all different outfits and all different styles.
They actually came out with so many different styles of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that they had no choice but to literally start a TV franchise about it. They had just so many ideas and so many different wacky concoctions to mix up. So starting in 1988 all the way until 1997, Playmates was the company who produced around 400 figures of just Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And that is just these guys. That doesn't include the accessories, the weapons, the houses, the vehicles, the little extra play pieces.
While we are doing this, if you can name the 4 turtles by the end of this, that'd be cool. You're not getting a turtle. But it'd be cool if somebody on here can name all 4 of them.
And honestly, you'll get even kudos points, and I'll even talk to Jason about maybe adding an extra 5% onto the 20% if someone can correctly name the potential 5th Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
So I can name that right now, so you're going to get a lot of people who can name. Okay. I think I know who you're talking about.
Okay.
Okay.
And it has to be while the show is happening. So if someone can correctly answer it in the comments while the show is still running, we'll talk about it, but it cannot be entered in after the show is over. So, besides the 400 figures that Playmates did introduce to toy stores, there was also dozens and dozens of different types of houses, landscapes, vehicles, accessories that they wanted to
toy boxes, which we've had.
Yes, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about the toy box that we had. About 1.1 billion turtles were sold in just 4 years of production. And that's within the first 4 years of production. They made over $1.1 billion. And with that being said, that made Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles the 3rd top-selling toy in the world. Not just America, in the world. And
Mars, you did it.
Oh, sure did.
Yes, he did. And I knew it was going to be right.
Mars was in my 5 finger of the 5 people I know who could do it within minutes. And Mars was one of them, and I knew he'd be able to do it.
And then running up after Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they're going neck and neck with G.I. Joes and Star Wars. Those 3 were like the ultimate trio powerhouse of the century.
So because a lot of people who come in here, and I'm not going to take anything away.
No, it's okay.
But a lot of people who come in here, they walk into a vintage and antique store and they're like, why do you have turtles? Why turtles? Why this? Because you got to realize that when you're talking about the 1980s,
yes,
and you're talking about 1980s toys, Ninja Turtles, Masters of the Universe, stuff like that, right? Those children that played with them in the 80s, the mid to late 80s, early 90s, that was beyond my childhood, they are now starting to buy back their youth. So they're in their late 30s, they're in their between 30 and 45, and they are working, and now they can buy it. They don't have to depend on mom and dad
to get it for them.
Exactly.
So now
they're putting together their
childhood dreams, because boys never grow up, and they always have to have them.
Which is honestly a super great nostalgic thing to see here, because we in store have so many different varieties and also eras of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Because like this one that I just shown, these 2 right here, you can clearly tell that these are one of the older, most, like I would say, like during the first couple rounds of production, these are going to be it. And the only reason why I say that is because they actually had celebrities that they based off of to look like these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
And a lot of the times when you take a look at like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and you see a body style difference, and those of you who have Amazon can go on and watch the Toys That Made Us.
Yeah.
And they have the story of the Ninja Turtles and the G.I. Joe and all these iconic toy lines. And so the companies thought, okay, well, we put out...
What's wrong with them?
Our mic's not working?
I think mine is on.
Can you hear me, Steve? Can you guys hear us now?
Says your mic is off. Did it die?
No, I had it flipped upside down. No, it's on.
Flip it inward and don't put it in.
Yeah, I'll do it this way. Can you hear me now, Steve?
Better. Okay, cool, perfect.
Okay, thank you. So you can go on there and you can watch the Toys That Made Us, because what they tried to do back in the 80s, which actually failed miserably, is they tried to reuse body styles.
Yes.
So is that part of your notes? I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, okay. So if you take a look at Masters of the Universe, this was the biggest, craziest thing they ever did. They used Ninja Turtle bodies on Masters of the Universe.
So
they were bulky. They were too bulky. They weren't used to seeing those that way. So they had to scrap that quickly.
Because it just was not
ideal. Because it was just not like it.
And you could clearly tell that they were being ripped off because...
My mic flipped inside out, you guys. It flipped backwards. Trust me, on a video we did, and it went through caffeinated. Dave's like, your video,
Your mic.
your mic.
And you're like, what?
So I got to be more conscious because somebody stole my mic stick.
Okay, sick. Okay, yeah. So
Mars, go on and watch that because it will blow you away. The toys that made us.
And another thing too is like when they talk about getting the body style and structure from another company, we also have to keep in mind too that like Playmates probably never like trademarked or copyrighted.
Playmates, the company that made these.
Yeah, that is the production company is called Playmates, who made Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Right.
which was actually two best buddies who then sold it to another big box company. And the only thing that they had in general is that they had the absolute last say when it came to final production to be put out in
Lisa.
stores. Hi, Lisa.
So, fun fact. You're going to get to meet Steve's sister.
I've seen her status.
Yes.
I'm very excited. I am
So
super excited.
I'm excited because my sister-in-law is coming up here with a friend of hers, and my sister-in-law helped us open this location.
That's gonna be
so
cool.
I'm excited about it because I haven't seen her in years.
I
So
love
we're very
Lisa.
happy that you're coming up, and I cannot wait.
Me neither.
You can come and work for me. No, I'm kidding. She's like, I'm not coming now.
She's like, well, I reconsider. So fun fact about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Well, now when we're gonna go ahead and move on from toys about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and talk about the actual cartoon show
okay.
and the movie franchise. So toys, merchandise, toy boxes.
What came first?
The toys and the merchandise.
The toys came before the TV show?
Yes, and they literally had so many ideas when it came from like aesthetics, storylines, villains, that they were running out of actual places to make and store these figurines, that they were like, we just have to have a show that explains everything that's in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle universe.
But let me tell you, those of you who are stepping up because these are way beyond your years or way before you, way after your years, we're going to be talking about toys from your time period too, so don't jump off too quickly.
Yes, I know. I'm almost done with
No,
Teenage
you're
Mutant Ninja
fine.
Turtles. Did you guys know that in the live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it takes 3 people to move one of those suits? So
Doesn't surprise me.
So for every one live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, there's 3 people inside of that suit, which I think is crazy.
So Mars, can you answer her question too? Who is the 5th? Who is considered the 5th turtle, or anyone else? Because remember, you get a surprise if you do the possible 5th turtle.
And I will give a hint for that if nobody gets it. Halfway through. So in 12 minutes, if nobody gets it, I will give a very small hint.
Is it already halfway through in 12 minutes?
Yes.
My goodness. And where is everybody?
So, okay, here's my last couple bullet points for Teenage Mutant. All of the toys and merchandise were developed before the movie and cartoons. There was only 5 episodes that were planned. It wasn't never supposed to go this far. It was supposed to be a mini short with 5 episodes that explained everything from point A to point B, and that was supposed to be it.
It's not going to stand.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were all going to have different names, but this is the coolest part. They all were supposed to have...
No. They can see the table, but
Okay,
Facebook
yes.
cannot. Well, kind of a little bit.
They can see the table, yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
All of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were actually supposed to be red.
Okay, so Gabby, did Mars tell you that? Because I'm going to be so impressed if you actually came up with it.
That's actually not the answer.
No, I know, but I'm just surprised that she came up with that.
Oh.
Because you know who that is. Yeah. So, okay, Mars. I thought it was the one Gabby said.
It's not it either.
No, I thought it was the one Gabby said.
Nope.
Okay, then I don't know who you're talking about. So I don't even know you guys. How fun. I love this. Keep coming with them.
No, yeah. You guys are getting closer, but so far I have not seen the right answer. So yeah, all of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were all supposed to have different names, but they all were supposed to have red accessories with red bandanas. They were not supposed to be different in color at all until the show started. Then they obviously needed some type of like representation of themselves so kids would know what Teenage Mutant is one. And then my last thing is the 2 buddies of Playmates that produced and made Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they brought them to so many different toy stores, so many different big box name companies, and they all turned them down and said, this is a dumb idea. Yeah, they said, this is a dumb idea. Kids are not going to like this. It's going to be a waste of money. And now they end up being one of the best, well-known franchises in the world, and
to this day.
Yep, and Toys R Us was the only toy store that decided to take on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Toys R Us,
which they're coming back, which I'm super happy with.
Inside other stores.
Their first order of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was 6,000 units. Their second order for the next month...
Lisa, you're going to have to scroll up. I don't know what was said.
It was 50,000 units. So in 1 month, Toys R Us was like, okay, we only need 6,000 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The next month, they needed 50,000.
Does not surprise me. I mean, you have companies that make the worst decisions, like Reese Pieces versus M&M's. M&M's turned them down.
Yep.
You know, Reese Pieces turned them down. Or it was Skittles, right? That's what he ended up using.
Skittles, yeah, it was Skittles. Oh my gosh.
And now, I mean, the biggest movie in the world at the time. So, as we're moving on, so we talked about an 80s toy.
Yep, sure did.
So let me talk about something a little bit older before I talk about Warner Brothers.
Okay.
And that would be a ramp walker. How many of you know what ramp walkers are? Because ramp walkers actually started in the 1800s.
Just in front of you.
Yep. Now, who can tell me what a ramp walker is? Because ramp walkers started in the 1800s, and they were a toy that was non-mechanical, and sometimes they were pulled by strings, and sometimes they were not. Is something...
No, I was just making sure I wasn't smacking it around.
So, what's a ramp walker? Yellow turtle named Jenica.
Nope.
You're confusing me.
I'm sorry.
No. I'm going to come around. So a ramp walker, actually, do you want to be my Banna?
If you want me to.
Okay. Do you mind? And then I'll be yours on any future ones. Sorry about that. I should have done it before. So ramp walkers, you guys, ramp walkers. Tell me what a ramp walker is. Who can tell me what a ramp walker is?
Do, 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 do.
Okay, so because all of my people who are over 60 must have, or over 50 must have stepped off. A ramp walker was a toy that was very, very popular in the late 1800s and became even more popular in the mid 1900s, 20s, 30s, 40s. A ramp walker, that's not a ramp walker.
It's not, really?
This is a ramp walker. That's a wind-up ramp walker. Okay, this is an old school ramp walker. So if you can hold it and show them. A ramp walker is a solid body that has movable legs so that when it's on a ramp, it walks.
LOL. I was so confused as to how it even maneuvered
a ramp
around.
walker is a kind of like, how many of you, Venus? Okay, how many of you know what a wind-up toy is? Like these little wind-ups that walk, you wind the toy up, and then they walk, right? This is the precursor for it. So kids would do it, on inclines. Whereas, now this one would have a little loop right here that you would tie a string on so that if you didn't have a ramp, you could pull it and it would walk.
Yes, like the little rubber ducks.
And collectors, the reason I wanted to talk about ramp walkers, now show this close up, shake it so they see. A ramp walker crosses all sorts of different collectors, right? And you have people who want Marx ramp walkers, Marx play sets, from the 1950s. They want the whole collection of the ramp walkers. Disney made a ton of ramp walkers, and Hanna-Barbera made a ton of ramp walkers. So you have crossover.
I was going to say, you just jogged my memory. Disney has one because Slinky is a ramp walker.
Yeah,
right?
it is. It's a stair walker, ramp walker. It is. Yeah. So these predated the wind-up ones. And these, because remember, back in the day, it was more archaic, and kids had to have their imagination rather than, pressing buttons all the time.
It also looks like they didn't think of the mechanics to make a wind-up until...
later.
Right.
Yep. So, wind-ups do date back, but this is for your everyday kid.
Sure.
Whereas a wind-up would have been more expensive. But back then, when we didn't have our head in the phones or head in our tablets, or which we seem to be doing, and we were kicked outside to play until the darkness came, instead of hibernating in a room with a screen, these are the times of things we played with. Back then, well, not me, because I'm a 70s and 80s child. This would have been 1950s, 1960s, 40s, 30s, 20s. They were really popular. So your collector of a ramp walker, and some of those can be $100, $200.
Wow.
They have to have their matter of fact, I can tell you that, I thought I wrote it down in here. The first ramp walker ever made was a cast iron in the 1800s.
Wow.
Made out of cast iron, and then they made them out of wood, right? But then in the early 19th century, or early 20th century, 1900s, they switched them over to plastic, so that way they were cheaper.
I was going to say, and imagine dropping a cast iron ramp walker on your face. That'd be
I know.
Horrible.
I know. So in the 19th, they went from wood and cast iron to plastic. Stationary body, swing legs, the wood, it would waddle down the ramp.
Sure.
And I mean, kids back then, they played with a stick and a hula hoop on the ground.
Yeah, literally.
So this was oh my God, look.
Yeah.
So ramp walkers are very highly collectible.
Ahead of their time, would you say?
Right upon their time, sure. I would say. They're highly collectible, and then you've got, like I said, Marks made a lot of them. Do we have people out there watching us?
Yes.
Do we really? Are they coming to the door?
I can't tell.
We have an audience.
I'm just going to go make sure that it's locked.
Okay. So, Disney, people who collect Disney made a huge collection of ramp walkers. Hanna-Barbera did, as well as Mark's Playsets and Mark's company. They made a lot. So, that's ramp walkers. So, when you see the little tiny ones like this that people usually look at and toss aside, you might be tossing away $200, $300.
That's crazy to think
about. Especially
if
it's got the little loop in the front, or if it's required a sticker on the side, because some of them, like a $200 one is a robot. A robot, and get this, a robot from the 1950s and 60s pushing a cart, and it has a sticker on the side. So if you have the robot pushing a cart and it has its sticker, that's a $200 to $300
toy
ramp walker.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? So ramp walkers, because we that is not good enough for us today.
Right.
And we're like, whatever. Then in the late, in the 50s, around the 50s and 40s, they started to become more common where they walk themselves.
Yeah, that one's, I've never seen one like this before.
Where they walk themselves. Yeah. You got to twist. You probably got to do it more. Now watch it not work.
It's so heavy. I feel like I don't even know how it's going to lift itself.
It needs to be
up.
like on a flat surface. And then...
It's so heavy.
The joys of live streaming, right?
I don't know how it does it. It so
does do
heavy.
it. It does work it.
No, I can tell like it wants to, but it's so heavy. The feet are heavy. I don't know even how it does it.
Look.
He's cool.
This is also one that you wind. Now, some of these get overwound, like a watch, so you got to be very careful. And then, like the little bee, this is a more modern one.
Yeah, he's cool.
He just jumps. Look at him.
Oh.
I don't think did I wind it? The joys of live TV.
Look, he's old. He's had his fair share of hopping around.
And he's 10. And these are also highly collectible.
Look at him.
And they do work. Trust me, of course, the one time I want it to work, it's not.
They get it. They understand
They have to.
Right. If they've been here before, then they know the deal.
Anywho, so those come in all array of different... I mean, here's Bugs Bunny. Who, by the way, did you know that Bugs Bunny is the 9th most recognizable character in the world?
Yeah, what's up, Doc?
The 9th most recognizable character in the world is...
I think it's cute that his ears flap around, too.
I know, isn't it? Yeah, he does. I know, it's fun. So, what else do you have before I get into Looney Tunes?
Oh! It's officially halfway. Did anybody answer that correctly?
Yeah, because you got me stumped, too. So, who is it?
We have no answers yet? No?
Well,
Okay.
they did answers, but you said they were all wrong, so they all left.
The
crying.
answer
No,
the
kidding.
answer is Jack Kirby.
Now, who is that?
Jack Kirby is someone who, one of the two boys, I cannot remember, I think one of them's name is Paul and the other one's name is Jason, who created Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Right.
looked up to Jack Kirby because he was one of Marvel's first comic book writers and creators.
Oh,
now
Jason would have known that.
And the only reason why I unfortunately said all the other answers were not correct and that why Jack Kirby is the correct answer is because all the other Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are named after men who did crazy things to change the world.
Leonardo,
Exactly.
and so forth. Yeah.
Michelangelo. Jack Kirby.
Artists.
Exactly.
Raphael.
And Jack Kirby, to one of the boys, fell in line with everybody else who was named after the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So, unfortunately, guys, the answer is Jack Kirby.
So, before we move on to what you were going to talk about, and then we get to talk about Looney Tunes, because we all love Looney Tunes, right?
Yes.
So, this right here, this amazes everybody to me. And I think it's funny because I know I still see these machines from time to time. So you put a quarter in, you put a quarter in, and you get one of these, right? You'd find it. Now this is a wrestler from the 80s. It's a finger puppet. Yep.
It fits on the finger like perfectly.
It's a finger puppet. Wrestler from the 80s. And so you would just go like to Kmart, to any of the department stores, and as you're leaving, you have all those machines there that you put quarters in, and it drops out the, a little bubble thing that filled with a little prize for the kids. And back in the 80s, those would have been like, oh, look, I got the finger puppets. And this is the finger puppet still in its original bubble. Isn't that cool? I think it's the coolest thing in the world. So, are you trying to fight me?
I was.
Are you trying to fight me?
He's squaring up with the camera.
And Facebook's going, no, but he's trying to fight you because she's
Jason updated his phone, and now we have all these crazy things coming up on the screen.
I know she's sucking up on to Instagram for some reason because we just found out, we read this article.
Oh my goodness, you
and
guys!
I'm so sad about it because you waved. Because she just read this article, and I'm going to read it. She's going to send it to me, and I'm going to read it, about how Instagram doesn't like all the small businesses on their page anymore. That
Yes.
they want to handle influencers for larger companies and big box companies. So if we're going to start hearing about how Instagram wants to move from small businesses to major corporations and influencers, then that's very sad for me. Who's giving me hearts?
I don't think that was Hulk Hogan. I thought it was too when I
Where is
first
it?
looked at it, but I thought it was one of the Hardy brothers, honestly.
It could be amalgamation, meaning all of them together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it could, with Hulk Hogan being such a famous, no, I would say it does not look like Hulk Hogan. The hair, the arms maybe, and if it is supposed to be Hulk Hogan, they did a bad job.
Yeah.
They did a bad job.
So
is that true? You read that, right?
I did. Instagram is not for the small people anymore, guys. I read this long Reddit thread that essentially was talking about how the creators and CEO of Instagram are taking smaller businesses and their reels and videos and pushing them down at the bottom. So for example, like us Time Warp Vintage, they don't consider us a big box store company because we don't have 2,500 employees. So they don't consider us as important and as much of an asset to the brand and app, as well as influencers that are bringing in tons of revenue and have millions of followers.
See, that's so sad for me.
Yes, me too.
Because, we're always told that Facebook is for older people, Instagram's for younger people. I don't know one younger person who would rather give their money to, I know every younger person that wants to be an influencer.
Right.
But that wants to give their money to big box or huge corporations, they would rather work with, be an influencer for a small business.
100%.
So maybe Instagram might want to consider, helping to fund some of these influencers.
Like me.
While they're doing their large business, to help create a small business atmosphere, because we've tried the large businesses. Where are they all at?
Not giving us
Bed
help.
Bath & Beyond is gone. Linens and Things is gone.
Dollar Tree's
almost gone. All these major corporations, they're cannibalizing themselves. They're putting themselves out of business. So I don't know why we would want to. Look at Amazon.
Like, I don't know about you, Jason, if you went to Dollar Tree often, but that 25 cents is killing me.
What, that they raised?
Yes.
Oh, that's funny. So anyways, more wrestlers from the 80s for a party.
We have Roddy Piper, Superfly Snuka, Hulk Hogan, Iron Sheik, and Junkyard Dog. Honestly, I'm a Junkyard Dog. Honestly.
So it's funny because you take a look. Look at this. This is the A Team. These are pencils for the A Team. So you've got what's his name in there? Mr. T.
Mr. T.
You got Mr. T in there, and okay. Now we're going to show you something. Now you take a look at it. Nobody opened it. It's 1983 A Team. It was originally purchased at Toys R Us for 87 cents.
Squeeze behind you. Toys R Us.
Yep, for 87 cents.
Oh, I'm sorry. I would have stood over
you're
there.
Fine. So Toys R Us original sticker. Do you know how many people walk in here and think that's the price?
I can't even get the words to come out with that one.
See, Toys R Us. But here we have the actual pencils, right? The actual pencils. Isn't that the coolest thing? With Mr. T on it. And they're more than 87 cents.
I also do see a comment here on Facebook. The only reason why Janica isn't correct is because she has that name and that person has like no influential impact on the creators of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. She could have potentially been a character who they wanted to bring into the show, but she probably would have never stuck in the group of Teenage Mutant Ninjas.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So there are cool things inside these cases.
Look,
you
what's
guys.
that bear?
So these are wind-ups from. So these were another toy from about the 1940s, 1930s, 40s, 50s. And you see it's the bear, but it comes in it's called the Walking Lovely Bear, right? Walking Lovely Bear.
We got the scary
in the
dog.
box. And this is made in Japan. And it doesn't have a date on it, but it doesn't have a zip code either, so which means it puts it pre-1962. But look at this. It's made in Japan. Look at the sticker on that thing. Isn't that the coolest? It almost has the sticker is almost, what does that say? Modern Toys. Hilarious. But this one's probably 1930s to 50s, Steve, right? Probably something like that. And you just wind them up. And they walk.
We got the scary dog over here.
Yeah, and then they walk. I didn't wind it much, but they walk. And so that would be the enjoyment, and you see his feet moving. See?
Yo, I don't know about
and
you,
that's
but
hours of enjoyment. Look, his head moves.
Yeah, his eyeballs are red. Like,
Yep.
he's scary, man.
And they have fur. And then here's Lazy Bones. So you got Lazy Bones pup, and this one's probably 1950s, 40s, 50s. But here he is, and look, he's got a bee. I love it because the bee landed on his foot. The bee landed on his foot, so he just sit there.
He's screaming,
Look,
my toe.
isn't that hilarious? Look, you can even see his body, his breathing.
He's so
So they
cute.
did so much that you can even see his breathing going. So these are fantastic toys from the past, made in Japan, right on it. Right? And something like this goes, it can be anywhere from $80 to $150, $160. This thing works, and it survives.
And it also has its original
Right.
box, which is like another deal
Original
breaker
box,
as well.
which adds a lot of value. Remember, through past shows, the original boxes. Something like this is a lot less expensive. It's only $25 and then 20% off. And look at the key. The key is so cool too. And then I love that he's got little pads on the bottom of his.
Little
He's got
beans.
little pads on the bottom of his feet. Isn't that cool?
We have a bottle of Magic Ink if anybody wants to give your mom a heart attack.
So before I get started with with Warner Brothers, who can tell? Oh God, that's a nasty face.
I was going to say she's scary looking.
Who can tell me who this is?
Oop.
Who can tell me who this is? Did somebody already tell
Nope,
me?
I was about to say, and then I stopped myself.
Who can tell me who this is? Anyone? 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 Who is this, you guys? Somebody? Hi, Brooke. I see you sneaking on. So, look at
my
that.
goodness.
So this is Jamie Summers, who is the Bionic Woman, and she is in all her glory here. And as you can see, one of the eyes are better. And those of you who watched the Bionic Woman or the Bionic Man growing up knows exactly who she is. I mean, here you can see on her outfit, isn't she the coolest? Isn't she the coolest? Look at that. The Bionic, part of the Bionic Woman. So, I'm going to tell you, have you ever seen the Bionic Man?
I have not.
Okay, so have you ever seen any of the Bionics?
Maybe.
$6 Million Man.
Oh, yes.
That
yes.
is Bionic Man.
Okay.
Okay, so at the beginning of the world of the $6 Million Man, there was just him. Then the Bionic Woman started, and then towards the end of the episode, there was a Bionic Dog too.
Oh, love that.
There was a Bionic Dog. So, and it is something that I have not seen started in a while. You know? I mean, I haven't seen a remake of anything.
Because
it's the weirdest thing. She's got such a manly face.
Do you feel like it needs to be rebooted?
No. Well, I wouldn't mind her being rebooted. Or I used to watch it religiously. The $6 Million Man. I mean, that was a 70s staple. Those of you who are my age, 50, in their 50s, they remember the Bionic series, the Bionic Man, the Bionic Woman. They were two separate episodes, and then they would come together and do specials, and then they got the dog together, and then it ended. I think they briefly did a reboot of the Bionic Woman, and then it just didn't make it.
Because it just didn't catch on.
But they're doing the Fall Guy now.
So is that a part of that?
The Fall Guy, no, it was just Lee Majors did the Fall Guy. So, Warner, do you have a Did You Know or anything before I get into Warner Brothers?
Nope.
Okay, so Warner Brothers. Why am I talking about Warner Brothers? Because Warner Brothers is my favorite. So if I had to pick, and those of you who know me know that Warner Brothers I like over Disney. And I am a Warner Brothers fan. In the 90s, the world revolved around Tweety Bird.
Oh, love Tweety.
Okay, the world revolved around Tweety Bird. And for me, Tweety Bird. Do you want to show? Do you want to be my Vanna?
I do. I love Tweety.
So this is Tweety Bird. So Tweety Bird, Sylvester, Taz, and did you know that Taz only appeared in 5 shorts in its entire life?
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
I wonder why.
5. That's the only time. It's only appeared in 5 shorts.
I wonder why only 5.
That is it. But I don't know why only 5, but what kills me is those 5 were enough.
Yeah.
And now Taz is everywhere. Cookie jars, this, that.
Shirts,
the Tasmanian
merch.
Devil. But you know what? That doesn't surprise me that much because if you remember in Warner Brothers tends to do that because I forgot what he was called, but when Bugs Bunny went to space,
Marvin the Martian?
His friend, the big hairy thing.
Oh, yes. That looks like Cousin It.
Yes, that thing, everybody remembers, and it only appeared in a few episodes.
Yeah. That's why it's like drawing a blank on his name right now.
Tweety was my favorite. I had everything Tweety.
Me too.
So, but a couple of did you knows before I get into the reason I'm talking about Warner Brothers is I'm going to be focusing in on this person.
Don't we have a game with that too?
We do somewhere.
Right there, underneath Bionic Woman.
So we're going to focus in on this game. Or not game, but this cartoon. Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. And because we get a lot of Roadrunner, and Roadrunner is not only a toy, but it's a symbol for a car, right? And Roadrunner because of the fastness. But I'm going to tell you, living in California, there's Roadrunners everywhere, right? And do you know the true size of a Roadrunner is like that big?
Really?
Mm-hmm. They're tiny.
That's hilarious.
They are tiny little birds, and they run real fast.
I'm out here thinking it's an ostrich.
No, they're at the most about that tall. And so, and Brooke, you've been in California. You've seen the Roadrunners before, I'm sure. They are tiny. So, some of the facts about Roadrunner, because we carry a bunch of Looney Tunes.
A lot, actually.
A lot of Looney Tunes. I mean, there is a ton of Looney Tunes over there.
Anybody remember Baby Looney Tunes? I feel like that was like the superior time frame for Looney Tunes. It was such a good show.
And I'm not counting Baby Taz in with the Taz, the five episodes, because I'm talking about full Taz.
Sure.
And so one of the things with Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner is they originally were meant to be backgrounds to musical compositions, and only backgrounds to musical compositions, which I thought was interesting and actually explained a lot about Hanna-Barbera and Tom and Jerry, because Tom and Jerry, that's how I learned classical. So it doesn't surprise me that they would put cartoons with it.
And then it also was silly that it got so popular that they were like, we just have to keep it going and turn
I
it
know.
into something like Tom and Jerry, where it just burst into a show on its own.
Well, they just redid the movie too, and it was one of my favorite.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah. Last 5 years, they did a movie,
Wow,
Tom and Jerry.
Crazy. I didn't know that.
So when they I talk about Tom and Jerry with the Roadrunner because it was originally written to mimic Tom and Jerry, to mean, in other words, they were to have their rambunctiousness to classical music. And it became so popular that they actually took it away from the classical music and made cartoons out of it. And they went by some simple rules. And they stuck to these rules at all time, which were interesting, weren't they? One is that only the coyote could only be harmed, I'm saying it wrong. The Roadrunner could only scare the coyote by meep meep.
Meep.
Meep meep.
He could never physically harm
Touch
him.
or harm the coyote. So he would run up behind him, meep, and run away, and he would jump, he would do something, right? Or he'd be planning this elaborate, the stone's going to fall on him as he runs under, and of course he runs up behind him, meep, and hits the stone and whatever. So, which I thought was really cool, and you can tell I'm a big Looney Tunes fan, more so than anything else, because I know the cartoons without even looking. Coyote was only humiliated, never harmed.
Love that.
So if you take a look, he falls down, a rock lands on him, which would clearly kill anything or anybody. But then the rock rolls off, and he jumps up, and he's humiliated and walks away.
And that is like another reason why that cartoon still to this day is so widely known, because no parent could ever say it was inappropriate.
No,
that it was
not at
too
all.
much gore, or it wasn't appropriate because of the violence. There was no blood, and no one ever got hurt.
So who can tell me what the coyote's greatest fear was and the biggest enemy was? Who can tell me what Wile E. Coyote's biggest enemy and fear was, if it wasn't the Roadrunner?
I remember.
So if somebody can tell me that, that'd be great, because I know what the answer is. And she's giving you a hint right now.
One more time for the people.
Why is nobody talking?
I think it's because I hurt their feelings with the last question.
No, you didn't hurt anyone's feelings. Hopefully people have thicker skin than that. So gravity. Gravity was Wile E. Coyote's biggest fear.
Rocks, LOL.
Well, yeah, but it's gravity, the rock falling on him.
What's that most recent comment said?
Anvil. The anvil falling on him.
One above that.
TNT this past weekend, they had a Looney Tunes week. That's cool.
That's cool.
Hopefully I didn't tape it or anything, but I have all the Looney Tunes. So because I like a lot of the sub characters, like Droopy.
Droopy was literally, he's such a mood, and like.
I'm a fan of Hanna-Barbera too.
Oh yeah, me too. Honestly, they were all really good. I can't really choose a favorite.
Yeah, you know what? Here's a did you know. Let's talk about Space Jams.
Okay.
Did you know that oh look, there's a fake Bugs Bunny.
The bookends.
Yeah, there's a fake bug. See, they fake everything nowadays. So this is a sad depiction of a fake one. Show them. Right? But anyways. So what was I telling you?
Oh, darn.
I was going to say something cool, too.
You were going to say, did you know...
About bugs?
About Looney Tunes.
Welcome to...
Should we tell them about Pepe Le Pew?
Oh, that's what... Wait, what was I going to tell him about Pepe Le Pew?
I remember if you don't remember.
Who was it that I was going to... Oh, my gosh. Okay, so Pepe Le Pew. Oh, I have it right here. Okay, so the Looney Tunes won 2 Oscars in their life up to this date, right? And the first one was for a cartoon, a movie-long cartoon called Sentimentality. Who do you think it starred?
One more time?
It was called Sentimentality. Oh. Who do you think it starred?
Pepe Le Pew?
Pepe Le Pew and his girlfriend.
Which was the white kitty, right?
No, she was a black cat who had a white stripe down her tail, who ran into paint.
Yes.
And ended up with the white stripe. See this? Can you tell I like Looney Tunes?
Because there was an episode where Pepe Le Pew, I think, is trying to make her jealous and goes after a white cat.
Oh, Hanna-Barbera. So Pepe Le Pew doesn't exist. You won't see the cartoons anymore. What?
Bye, Lisa.
No, you don't. I'm more important than work. You tell your boss that. She tells me that. No, I'm kidding. So Pepe Le Pew, unfortunately, is not with us anymore. They have discontinued Pepe Le Pew because of his aggressiveness towards his girlfriend. And so, therefore, I don't know if you can go onto YouTube. You can probably go on YouTube and find old ones. But Pepe Le Pew, a lot of people really loved Pepe Le Pew. And one of the really cool things is all of the Warner Brothers, they did a lot of merchandising with Burger King, with Pepsi, with stuff. So the Warner Brother glasses... Gabrielle, yeah, he is a stalker because he did stalk her.
Yes, he did.
I mean, he did stalk her. And then he grabbed her and she tried to push him away. So it probably needed to be either cleaned up or moved off. But it was, I mean...
He was a French skunk, for God's sake. He loved her.
Yeah, but she didn't love him.
I know.
You know what happened to Rupert Murdoch.
Oh, you're hilarious.
So a lot of the character glasses are based off Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes was big in the 90s. Looney Tunes had a huge resurgence.
Oh, for sure.
Huge. From 91 to 95, you couldn't turn the corner without seeing Looney Tunes. Now, the Looney Tune jackets, the Stonewash jean jackets and stuff that have the embroidered Looney Tunes on them, those things are fetching $200, $300, $400, $500.
No, for sure.
The vintage ones.
Yep.
And now they're recreating them because everybody wants them. So Steve's favorite Looney Tune character is Taz, but finding a lot of Taz stuff is very difficult, you know. So, but there was something I was saying. Oh, Roger Rabbit.
Oh, yes, I was really hoping you were going to bring this
Roger Rabbit. That's what I was saying, and I lost my train of thought. So how many of us saw Roger Rabbit, right? And I said Space Jams. But that's what I said originally. Roger Rabbit, how many of them, right? So that was Looney Tunes, who did Roger Rabbit. And did you know that Looney Tunes demanded and required that every single animated character had the exact same amount of airtime as the human characters?
Which, thinking back on it now, I get. But now?
They said this movie will not work unless it is exactly like 2 humans.
Sure.
So it had to have the same airtime.
What is her name? Long red hair, purple eyeshadow, sparkly red dress, and Roger Rabbit. What's the girl's name?
Somebody?
Cannot remember her name.
David, what's her name? You're in love with her.
Right. Okay, we have Roger Rabbit, but what is her name? Anyway, I know you guys know who I'm talking about. This is to rebuttal what Jason just said. I bet you didn't know this either.
What?
Roger Rabbit and Jessica Rabbit. Is that her name?
That is her name.
Jessica Rabbit, Roger Rabbit. You guys need to put 2 and 2 together. Where did Lola Bunny come from?
What do you mean?
Lola Bunny has the same facial structure as Jessica Rabbit and the same attitude as Roger Rabbit.
Isn't Lola Bunny Bugs Bunny's love interest? Well, that would make sense. Looney Tune would make it.
And she came
So
from...
are you saying that Lola stepped out on Bugs?
No.
She changed her look and went...
No, but her parents are Jessica Rabbit and Roger Rabbit.
Oh, Lola's is.
Yeah. Lola Bunny, her parents are Jessica Rabbit and Roger Rabbit. She has the same facial features as Jessica and the same attitude as Roger Rabbit, but yet they never talk about that. Where does she even come from?
So what's Lola in?
Space Jam. And she's in Roger Rabbit for a split second because remember she plays
actually
basketball?
makes appearances in
Looney Tunes.
Looney Tunes.
Yep. Thank you so much for that because I couldn't remember.
Jessica, yeah. That's interesting.
Now, thinking of this, I don't know why we never talked about this. You've seen Cool World, right?
Yes.
Would that came out like shortly after Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah.
That was a phenomenal movie.
In the 90s, I'm telling you, in the 90s, Looney Tunes trumped Disney.
No, they did because that's how they started Cool World because it was
Space Jams.
Yes, because that's when you brought real live action with animation.
Well, Roger Rabbit did it first.
Yes, and then after that it was Cool World.
Space
and then
Jams.
Was Space Jam first?
Space Jams was before Cool World. So I think it was Roger Rabbit, Space Jam. We'll have to figure this out. If somebody knows, let us know. It could very well be Space Jams first, but I think they all came out 91, 92, 93 area time frame.
But think about it, guys.
Yes.
Her parents are Jessica Rabbit and Roger
But they
Rabbit.
were also all Looney Tunes and no Disney.
Very, very true.
You know, I mean, Disney came out with their movies, but Looney Tunes, to me, Looney Tunes has more character.
It does.
And their sub-characters are hilarious.
Oh, yeah, and I feel like they're also
Same
more
with Hanna-Barbera so much.
too, than just Disney characters. Oh, wow, it's already almost 7:30.
Wow, I love talking about cartoons.
Me too.
I know.
Oh,
Did I miss something? Let me look.
I know you guys have seen me hold up good old Sugar Bear here.
Uh-huh.
Sugar Bear wasn't even popular. He had his own yo-yo and his own padlock in the 1960s, but that was about it. Once the 90s hit, he was then a Christmas ornament where he resembled Saint Nick. And he only had 5 years to try to show himself before they actually wanted to put him on shelves.
Is he still the same bear?
Yes, he sure is.
Because I know they've been changing.
Yep. The only thing that has changed about Sugar Bear is his name. He was introduced to the NA in 1949, and through the years, Sugar Crisp saw several different names.
I don't know if they can see it. Yeah, there you go.
He had Super Sugar Crisps.
He's this little tiny person that's coming out of the side.
No, literally. And so he had Super Sugar Crisp, Super Golden Crisp, and then Golden Crisp.
The Incredible Mr. Limpet.
Who's that?
What about him, Steve? Or them? Was that your favorite? I don't know. I liked them all. So, what we showed you today, you guys, is just a tiny 1% of what we have in here.
And this is just the case.
And the Looney Tunes collection is much larger. All of these collections are much larger. We're showing you a small sample of what we have. So you'll have to come in and take a look because it's craziness.
We have so much stuff hidden in places.
Yep. And so we're going to be wrapping it up here. So you have to catch me on Mondays at 10 o'clock. I come in at the end of the show. I do the giveaway on Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. Watch it because I guarantee you will like it. There's a lot of cool stuff coming from that show. Also, Time Warp Live is going to be going huge. And what else?
This is going to be uploaded as soon as we get off, you guys. I know I love the little side profile that you guys are getting from me right now. This is going to be uploaded again right to our website this coming week. It's also going to be available on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram as soon as we end our live here.
Okay.
What?
The Incredible Mr. Limpet. Yes, Steve. It was a 1960s animation and real life. It was one of the first ones done.
Oh, sure.
And it was with Don Knotts.
Okay.
And so it was animation and real life. So
he was the first to bring them together.
Yes, there might have been like clips and stuff without talking earlier, but yeah, they did the most. That's right, Steve. I totally forgot about him. Go on.
And if you guys are completely interested on dropping us some new topics, make sure you drop it into our forum, which is available on the Time Warp.
But yet nobody's done it, so we're still waiting for you. I'm going to shame you guys into doing it.
Honestly, you guys don't get the 20% next time. No, I'm joking. What's the storybook movie? 3 talking books?
That I'm not sure. That would be your other half.
Yep, and I have no idea what he's talking about.
So I'm not sure. We will do research on that, David. And actually, you live with her, so tell her to do it.
Yep, I'll figure it out. And then he's going to be getting a text from me like, I found out what the 3 talking books.
Me? You're talking about me?
Kid with glasses.
Where's Waldo?
Are you talking about Stuart Little?
Stuart Little's a big time book.
3 books and they talk.
We'll have to figure it out.
Yeah, because I have no idea.
Unless you're talking about the Saturday morning
Cartoons?
cartoons. If I Were a Bill. Was there 3
School of Rock?
School of Rock. Was there 3 books in that? I don't know. So
We'll
if you guys don't know, we'll figure it out. We'll tell you next week.
And up until then, the Page Master. I have no idea what that is. You guys know what that is?
I know what the Page Master is.
I don't.
It's a movie, isn't it? It's a movie. The
I
Page
guess
Master.
so.
We'll have to figure it out.
Well, until next time, guys, we'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye, you guys.
The Page Master.